Irish Illustrated's Instant Analysis, Tim Priester with Tim O'Malley. Tim, I want to start with, we have personnel issues to deal with here, but I want to start with a question. When Brian Kelly's asked, do you have something to prove? You always wonder how he's going to react, and he handled it perfectly, but he said, no, we haven't won the national title, but we're in this situation every year. That's about the best you can say at this point until you go out and beat somebody like Alabama.
Yeah, it's a great point, and we'll get into this a little on the podcast. Look, nothing invalidates what Notre Dame did this year, but I believe Alabama's a different animal, and it makes it very difficult for you to go out and prove something, because when you're a 19-point underdog and you're the fourth best team in the country, there's something different at play there. They are, until Notre Dame just hangs with Alabama in this game, takes them to the fourth quarter, it's going to be the same narrative he's going to hear next year when Notre Dame is 11-0 or 12-0 or 11-1 and they have to go to the playoffs and someone says, well, who did you beat? Because now you got to play Alabama. It's just the way it is. I mean, it was that way 9 years ago. It's that way now.
Kyle Hamilton will be back. That was one of the early questions about how he was recovering from his ankle. He believes that he'll be able to play at a high level. He didn't, you see, he stopped short of saying, I thought he was going to say 100%, and he stopped short of that. So he's probably.
Tim, I'm sorry to interrupt you on this. I think Hamilton hasn't been 100% all year. I think Brian Kelly kind of mentioned it. He's had a nagging ankle. When he went down, he didn't say he re-injured it. He said, he's had a nagging ankle. And it's like, oh, he's been playing with that.
Yeah.
I think that's what it will be.
Yeah. I asked about Josh Lugg and Zeke Corral. Brian Kelly said that they would decide after today's practice. Once again, we had a player, Liam Eichenberg, kind of indicate that it's going to be Josh Lugg. They want that bigger, more experienced body in there. Right or wrong, that appears to be the decision that is going to be made.
I think the ankle just knocked Corral out of it because, and I don't mean that he maybe isn't healthy enough. I mean, he couldn't make progress for a couple of weeks, and you needed him to make progress to go against Alabama. They probably look at it this way. Josh Lugg has been our center for 4 weeks. You know, not 4 games, but 4 weeks. Zeke Corral was our center 5 weeks ago. We can't play that way.
Right. Braden Lindsey's name was brought up. Brian Kelly said they need to incorporate that speed against Alabama, so we'll see. I thought it was interesting that tempo was mentioned to Brian Kelly. He made it sound like they had to, really slow it down because he referred to Alabama's offense as electric and they score in bushels, bushelfuls. And then when we talked to Tommy Rees, he talked about tempo like that might be in play. I don't think it is. You and I are in accordance with that. Go ahead and explain why we are.
Yeah, here's a common sense thing to pose to everybody out there. Do you want Alabama to have 14 possessions or 9? You want them to have 9, right? However, Notre Dame can come out in tempo, and Notre Dame can attack in tempo if Alabama makes a turnover, or Notre Dame can attack in tempo after a 30-yard gain and you keep Alabama's nickel defense on the field. You keep going. You can attack tempo, but at some point, you have to play complementary football, and that's the word Brian Kelly keeps using. You can't just keep putting your defense out there and say, stop the best offense you've ever seen with the compromised secondary. They have a compromised secondary in that they're not as good as Alabama's skill position players are.
Even when Notre Dame was a tempo offense, they didn't stick with it. And that was your point, that you can come out in tempo, and I agree with that. If you're going to do it, you have to pick and choose, and it's going to be infrequently to play that complementary football. Right. Tim, third down, I was asking about third downs and how you get Ian Book to be a big part of the running game again, because when he's not a big part of the running game, Notre Dame's offense is hurt by that. Third down is an area where Notre Dame needs to take advantage against a Bama team that struggled with that.
Yeah, there are. You don't think of Alabama as struggling on third down because Nick Saban's best defenses would dial it up on third down, but things have changed greatly in the last 5 years at Alabama. If their offense struggled on third down, would be onto something. That's not the case. But yeah, Ian Book said third down is the way to win this game, and I believe that's true. And you will have more on that on Irish Illustrated.
Yeah, and the offense is Alabama's converting at about a 60% rate offensively. That'll be tough. That's it for Instant Analysis.